Chosen one. Stay perfectly still and just notice the weight of the air in the room right now. You have been carrying a heaviness in your chest that you thought was exhaustion, but it is actually the weight of glory, the internal frequency of your promotion pressing into your soul. 3 days ago, a divine meeting was held about your name, and the court of heaven officially signed your release from the waiting room. Type 444 if you feel heaven has been preparing this moment specifically for you. The door to your past did not slam shut because God forgot you. It slammed because your old frequency could not survive where you are going. You did not find this by accident. You found it because the frequency of your pain has finally translated into the frequency of your power. You are finally ready. And readiness looks different than you imagined. It does not look like finally having everything figured out. It does not look like the fear being gone. It does not look like your bank account being full or your relationships being healed. Readiness looks like a deep knowing beneath all of that chaos that something is about to move. It looks like a stillness in the center of the storm. That still knowing you carry right now, that is what readiness feels like in the spirit. Heaven does not wait for your circumstances to align before releasing you. Heaven waits for your spirit to align, and yours just did. Type I am ready if you feel the shift happening in you right now. Subscribe to align with thousands of awakened souls. Like if your spirit confirms this word, and comment 888 to activate this frequency. Stay with me until the very end of this message, because I am going to show you how to stop fighting the wind and start using the current. By the end of this journey, you will not just understand why you were stuck, but you will have the specific tool to recalibrate your mind and activate the hidden authority you were born with. I am talking about a shift that turns your waiting room into a throne room. Imagine you are sitting alone in the dark, watching the headlights of cars pass by your window. The glass is cold against your forehead, as you watch a world that seems to be moving on without you. You scroll through your phone and realize there is no one you can actually call who would understand the depth of what you are feeling. The conversations you have managed to have about it barely scratch the surface. Because what you carry is not something most people have the spiritual vocabulary to receive. You have tried to share pieces of it before, and watched people's eyes glaze over or pivot immediately to practical advice that entirely misses the point. So you learn to go quiet. You learn to smile and say fine when someone asked how you were. But inside, there was always this ache, this sense of being seen by heaven but invisible to the earth. And the longer that gap existed between what God said about you and what the world reflected back, the more you wondered if you had imagined the whole thing. You feel like an undercover agent from another planet speaking their language and eating their food. But knowing deep down that your DNA originates from a completely different star system, you have been asking, Lord, why was I forgotten? But look at the book of Joel, chapter 2, verse 25. God says, I will restore to you the years that the locust has eaten. In the original Hebrew, the word for restore is shalom. Shalom does not just mean to get back what was taken from you. It means to be made complete or to be paid back with interest. It is as if a court finds a thief guilty and orders them to pay you back $500 for the $100 they stole. That is shalom. God is overpaying you for your suffering. If you lost 5 years, He is compressing 20 years of blessing into your next 5 years. You are not just entering a season of restoration. You are entering a season of overpayment. And this overpayment is not general. It is specific. Where your finances were strangled for years, Shalom is releasing a flow that does not make sense on paper. Where your relationships experienced one betrayal after another, Shalom is bringing covenant connections that will make you wonder how you survived before they arrived. Where your identity was confused, hidden under layers of disappointment and survival mode, Shalom is restoring the clarity of who God made you to be from before you were born. Where your time was stolen, Shalom is creating acceleration, a compression of years into months, of months into weeks, You are not just getting back what was taken, you are receiving interest on interest on interest. Heaven does not return what the enemy stole at face value. Heaven returns it multiplied, pressed down, shaken together, running over. Type Amen if you receive this overpayment as yours right now. And let me tell you something that might surprise you. The same principle of shalom, of divine recompense, works when you sow into the kingdom. When you sow a seed of obedience, when you sow a seed of trust, heaven does not just match it. Heaven multiplies it back to you. This is the covenant language you give, and it shall be given unto you. Good measure, pressed down, shaken together, running over. The Father wants you to understand that your breakthrough is not just coming to you, it is coming through you to touch others. And as you move into this new season, the resources you steward, the wisdom you share, the light you carry, these become seeds that grow in ways you cannot yet imagine. There is a difference between someone who receives a blessing and someone who becomes a portal for blessing. You are being positioned as the second kind. What flows into your life is not meant to accumulate. It is meant to move. You are the conduit, not the container, and that is why the breakthrough took so long. God was not just preparing the blessing. He was preparing the one who would carry it without being destroyed by it. The chosen ones who become portals go through the longest refinements, because portals carry more than recipients ever do. Type it is coming through me if you receive this word over your life. If this message is finding you at exactly the right moment, consider planting a seed through the link in the description or the pinned comment. Someone in your life is still in the waiting room right now, still interpreting their season of delay as punishment, not knowing that Shalom is preparing to repay everything they lost with interest. Your seed carries this revelation to them before they give up on the promise. You do not have to say anything, just plant, and let heaven do the overpaying. Hit the like button if this message is confirming what your spirit has already been sensing. You sit there at night, and the raw, ugly thoughts creep in. You think, why is that person who cheats and lies prospering while I, who pray and fast, am struggling to pay my rent? You feel a bitter jealousy that you are afraid to admit to anyone. You feel like God is ignoring your resume while handing out promotions to people who do not even know His name. But notice the pattern of the greats who came before you. Joseph sat in a dark, damp dungeon, forgotten by the very people he helped. He did not just sit there waiting for the door to open. Psalm 105 verse 19 says, "Until the time that his word came to pass, the word of the Lord tested him." In Hebrew, the word for tested is daraf. It means to be refined by fire. Joseph was not just waiting, his DNA was being recalibrated to handle the frequency of a throne. God was burning away the slave identity, so the king identity could emerge. And consider Elijah, one of the most anointed prophets who ever walked the earth. After his greatest public victory at Mount Carmel, he ran into the wilderness and sat under a juniper tree and asked God to let him die. 1 Kings chapter 19 records that after this massive spiritual high, this man of fire was completely broken, exhausted, alone, disillusioned. And what did God do? He did not rebuke him. He did not say, "Get up, you are being weak." He sent an angel who touched him and said, "The journey is too great for you." He let him rest. He fed him. He gave him water. He met him in the physical before he spoke to him in the spiritual. Sometimes God's response to your breaking point is not a sermon. It is bread. It is water. It is permission to rest. And then, when you have been strengthened by that rest, He speaks. Because where you are sitting right now, exhausted and wondering, God is not disappointed. He is preparing the bread for the next leg of your journey. There is something else about the hiddenness these men endured that nobody talks about. Both Joseph and Elijah were hidden at the height of their spiritual authority. Joseph carried prophetic dreams while sitting in a dungeon. Elijah carried the mantle of fire while hiding in a cave. The hiddenness was not the absence of power, It was the protection of it. Heaven hides what it is most serious about. If the world could see what was being prepared in your life right now, the enemy would mobilize every resource available to destroy it before it manifested. The obscurity you have lived in was not abandonment. It was divine protection of something too valuable to expose before its time. Type 777. If you know you are being refined for something greater than what you can currently see. Here is the resonance check framework for your life. Right now, you cannot receive a high-level assignment while operating on a low-level frequency. If you want to see the shift, you must first notice where you hold tension in your body when you think about your future. Does your stomach clench? That is a frequency mismatch. In your mind, imagine the air you breathe is liquid light. As you breathe, watch it flow past that spot of tension, washing away the doubt and the years of feeling forgotten. You might feel a slight tingling that is the release of the old frequency. Stay with this for a moment. Do not rush past the breathing. Notice what happens in your chest when you think about what God said about your future. Is there contraction or expansion? The contraction is not your enemy. It is information. It is telling you where the old belief system is still lodged. Keep breathing the liquid light through that space. This is not performance. This is alignment. The body holds memory the mind tries to skip. And when you breathe through the tension instead of avoiding it, you are giving God permission to minister to the places in you that words have not yet reached. Type Amen if you felt something shift as you did that. Now, I need to tell you something that nobody else will say. Something that might make you uncomfortable. You pass the test, and the blessing is manifesting. But here is the raw truth. Part of you is terrified. You have been praying for this breakthrough, but in the middle of the night, a voice whispers to you, "What if I get the promotion and mess it up? What if success changes me into someone I do not recognize? What if everyone sees that I am a fraud?" You are scared of the visibility that comes with your crown. You have watched others get blessed and then crash publicly, and you are terrified that you are next. But listen closely, chosen one. That fear is not a sign of weakness. It is a sign of wisdom. You are terrified because you understand the weight of what is being placed on you. Those who crashed had no fear because they had no awareness of the weight. Your healthy fear is what proves you are ready to carry the kavod. The kavod is the Hebrew word for the glory of God, and it literally means weight. It is heavy by design, not to crush you, but to ground you. When Moses came down from the mountain, his face shone so brightly that people could not look at him directly. He did not plan for that. He was not performing it. It was simply what happened when you have spent time carrying the weight of divine proximity. The glow you will carry in this new season is not something you can manufacture. It will be the natural overflow of having been in the presence of the one who made you. The fear is not an obstacle. It is a readiness indicator. Type, "I am ready to carry it," if you receive this truth over your life. Before we continue, pause here for a moment. If the description of that fear resonated with you, think of someone in your life who is also carrying that same fear in silence. Someone who is misreading their own readiness as weakness. Plant a seed through the link in the description or the pinned comment as a covering over them. You do not need to tell them what you did. Just plant it as a quiet act of prayer for someone who needs to hear that their fear is not an obstacle. It is the sign that they were chosen to carry something heavy enough to warrant being afraid. As you step into this new frequency, you must understand that the enemy is not happy. He is launching specific strategies to steal your focus. This is where you must apply the 3-circle rule for your protection. In your mind, imagine 3 concentric circles of light surrounding you. The innermost circle is circle 1. This is for you and God alone. This is where your secret dreams and your rawest prophetic words live. The rule for circle 1 is total silence. You never speak these things out loud to anyone because the enemy cannot read your mind. but he can hear your words. The middle circle is circle 2. This is for your inner circle. No more than 3 people who have proven they can pray for you without judging you. You only share your dreams here for prayer coverage. The outermost circle is circle 3. This is for everyone else. The rule here is that you only share results after they have manifested. If people do not know what you are building, they cannot ruin it. This is the peace that guards you. Practice this today. Think of the vision God gave you in secret. The one that feels too big to say out loud. That belongs in circle 1. It does not need your explanation or your defense. It needs your obedience and your silence. Think of 1 or 2 people in your life who have consistently prayed without competing with you. People whose voice in your life produces peace and not confusion. That is your circle 2. Everyone else, including well-meaning family members and enthusiastic friends, they get your testimony after the fact. They get the fruit, not the seed. Guard the seed with silence and water it with prayer. That is how you protect what God planted in you. Subscribe and turn on all notifications. More revelation is being prepared for the chosen ones walking into this new season. Look at Philippians chapter 4 verse 7. It says that the peace of God which passes all understanding will guard your hearts and minds. In the original Greek, the phrase passes all understanding is hupereko. It does not mean peace passes by your mind. It means peace towers above your understanding. It is an active dominant peace that is so massive that your logical brain cannot comprehend why you are calm while the world is falling apart. And the word for guard is foro. This is a military term for a fortress guard. This hupereko peace stands like a soldier at the gates of your mind, stopping the enemy from entering. This is not a feeling. It is a divine defense system. You do not need to understand how God is going to fix your situation. You only need the peace that towers above the question, and that peace is available to you right now, not after the situation resolves, not after the breakthrough arrives, not after you have more information. Right now, in the middle of the unanswered question, in the middle of the waiting, in the middle of the confusion, the peace that towers above your understanding is available in the space before you have the answer. That is what makes it supernatural. Natural peace only comes after resolution. But hupereko peace comes before resolution and stands over it like a shield, saying, "The answer is coming." You do not need to panic while you wait. Type 1111 if you receive this supernatural peace as your defense right now. Let me tell you about a chosen one who understood this. 9 months ago, he was facing a total collapse of his career. A major contract he had spent years building was suddenly cancelled. He was devastated. But instead of panicking or defending himself publicly, he practiced strategic silence. He deleted his social media apps and went into a 40-day period of alignment. He only spoke to his circle, 2 people. On day 38, a company he had never contacted called him. They had found his old work and felt a supernatural pull to partner with him. They offered him a 6-figure contract that was double what he had lost. He proved himself in silence before he promoted himself in public. He stayed faithful when he was forgotten, and now he is unforgettable. And what people do not mention about his story is what happened to the atmosphere around him after the contract arrived. People who had written him off began reaching back out. Doors that had remained closed for years began opening without him knocking. Because when heaven moves in your life, it does not just change your situation, it changes how the atmosphere around you responds to your presence. Favor is not just a moment. It is a new weather system that follows you into every room you enter, and that is what is being activated for you right now. Type Amen if you believe your season of silence is about to produce something that cannot be ignored. Now, chosen one, before we seal this, I need you to perform a mental activation. In your mind, I want you to stand up. Even if you are lying in bed or sitting in your car, feel your spirit standing tall. Imagine yourself standing in a hall of mirrors. But instead of reflecting your past mistakes, every mirror reflects the version of you that has already won. Look at that reflection. That is not fantasy. That is not wishful thinking. That is the version of you that already exists in the realm of the spirit, waiting for time to catch up with what heaven already decided. Every mirror in this hall shows a different dimension of your victory. One mirror shows your restored relationships. One shows your open doors. One shows your face on the day the answer arrives. Do not look away from any of them. Let the image of your victory become more familiar to your eyes than the image of your struggle, because the image you rehearse most in your spirit is the one you walk toward in your daily life. This is not a regular prayer. This is an activation, a commissioning. You are being deployed into your destiny right now. Notice the weight on your shoulders, but do not call it a burden anymore. Call it your mantle. Father God, in the mighty name of Yeshua, we stand before you. We declare that this is a divine moment. We receive every word spoken today, not as information, but as impartation. I thank you for every chosen one listening right now. You know the tears they cried when they thought the waiting room was a prison. You saw them stay faithful when everyone else forgot their name. I seal the revelation of Shalom into their spirit right here. I seal the three-circle rule into their daily walk. I break every assignment of the enemy to steal this frequency, every spirit of doubt, and every monitoring spirit that was sent to sabotage their breakthrough. I bind you now. You will not touch them. I declare that within 40 days, you will see the first shift. Relationships will change. Financial doors will open that you did not even know existed. I decree that the inheritance locked in your bloodline is released now. What your parents could not access, you will walk in. You are moving from hidden to elevated. You are moving from forgotten to unforgettable. Type, I am commissioned, if you receive this activation right now, through the link in the description or the pinned comment. Plant a seed as your first act after receiving this decree, not as someone still waiting for the release. As someone who has just been commissioned, bring with you the specific inheritance that has been locked in your bloodline, the thing your parents could not access that you are now walking into. Place it inside your seed as your first declaration that you believe the inheritance is already released. And watch what Shalom brings back in overpayment. Type 333. If you know you are the first in your bloodline to carry this, and you receive the inheritance being released right now, understand what it means to be the first. It means you are stepping onto ground that has no family footprints. There is no map, because no one in your lineage has walked here before. The fear you feel is not just personal fear. It is the weight of being the one who breaks the pattern that every generation before you encountered but could not defeat. You were not born into a dynasty. You were born to start one. And what you establish in this generation will be inherited by everyone who comes after you with your name in their bloodline. You are not just fighting for yourself. You are setting the table for a generation that has not yet been born. God is asking you a question right now. Will you carry what I am giving you? Will you stay faithful in the promotion the same way you were faithful in the test? If your answer is yes, say it in your heart. With the force of a lion, say, I am ready. Heaven heard that. It is recorded in the books of glory. You are committed. You are commissioned. You are sent. Type I am ready in the comments. Heaven is recording it. Share this with someone who needs to know that their waiting room has an expiration date. Someone who is still inside the test, not knowing they are already on the other side of it. Send this to them now. Go now, chosen one. You are not leaving a video. You are leaving your holding pattern. Walk in it, own it. And when the enemy reminds you of who you were, you remind him of who God says you are, in the mighty matchless name of Yeshua. Do not say Amen yet. I want you to sit in this frequency for 60 seconds. Let the weight settle into your bones. Feel the shift in the room.